find the right angle for this thing.
Yeah. Get the right angle.
Yeah, man. It's all, I don't know. If sex has taught me anything, it's that you always ask.
That's it.
Angles.
Angle.
and angles, obviously, but
The good angle, the best angle. So. And obviously, just try and keep as close to the mic as possible. So we can get a good, lovely,
get that
good, lovely voice. Yeah,
these dark tones.
Yeah, man.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Okay. We're moving different. Yeah, here we go.
Look at that.
Yeah, baby.
You almost makes me want to try and change up my angle over here too.
No, I like this. This is where I'm at. Yeah. Found my groove now.
Yeah, wicked, man. So how have you been, guys?
Been pretty good.
Yeah.
Been fucking busy, man. Been fucking busy, dude.
Good busy or bad busy?
A bit of both.
You just forget how much goes into when you're trying to put something out. There's so many steps. Music video and the single itself.
Yeah,
Preliminary steps.
Maybe that would be a great place to start. Like before you got here, Travis was sort of telling me a little bit about some single launch and some bits and pieces. It sounds exciting.
Yeah, we've got some. We've got the single, our first official single, I guess, coming up on October 9th at Planet Royale, which is that new venue.
Royale?
Planet Royale. Royale with cheese, you know? That's just opened up in Northbridge. It's the old IMAX theatre, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, so they've built this 3-tiered venue where the top is like what's called the Royale Theatre.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for it. We're going to be releasing it with a film clip, and we'll have like some CDs there and whatnot. We'll have a very small run of CDs. We wanted to get vinyl.
7-inch vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they take like months or something to...
Well, have you heard, man?
Backlogged. Like there was some small labels and they're saying, if you want to release August 2022, put in your order now. It's like
really?
a year.
What?
Yeah.
Depends on who you go with, but like a lot of the
yeah.
places were going overseas before, and that's so backlogged. So anyone who can do small pressing releases now, even then it's like a year backlog.
Wow. I looked up, and again, obviously it might not be accurate, but yeah, I did look at something a couple of days ago in, I think it was actually a Perth company. And I think they said it was about 3 months, running about 12 weeks. But then if you do want like a test press first, that adds another, I think, 2 months to it or something.
Usually you want to do that and make sure it's right, otherwise it turns out shit.
Yeah. You got like 100 or 200 vinyls that just
pieces of crap. Yeah, you don't
use them as a doorstop or a frisbee or something like that.
Because I think you get a different master done as well to suit the vinyl, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's because of those extra low frequencies you have compared to CDs and digital. Something like that. But I'm not a mastering expert, but I have heard that as well.
Yeah, so we've gone with the CD, I think. I think we'll have the idea, I think, is going to be a limited run. I don't know how many they're going to be. But I want to aim to everything actually that we do with King Proteus. I want to be like a limited release.
Yeah. Cool.
I think the idea of scarcity is becoming more and more important to collectors these days. If they get something, a CD for instance, or a t-shirt, and they know that it's one of a select number and there will never be more after that, it adds intrinsically to the value of that thing. Whereas if you know you can just, I can buy this at any, if they want to buy a CD, and it is such a marketing tactic. But if someone's at a gig and they're like, maybe I'll get a CD next time, it's like, well, there's only going to be like 200 of them, so once they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
We won't print more, like that kind of thing. We might do another version of it, like thing with like different tracks on it.
Yeah, you can change like the cover up or add a bonus track or something like that.
Yeah, but it's like that one is just that, like one of so many. So we're going to go for that, and hopefully we just got the art done by this great Perth artist called Liam D, and he actually came across us at a convenience show that we did, and he comes up like
He was dancing at the front.
Yeah, he's dancing at the front to be like, having a ball. And at the end, he's like, guys, like, like, I need to like add you on. He's a bit drunk, and so he's like, I want to work with you guys. Like, you guys make like awesome. Like, I want to do art and somehow work with you. So later down the track, we've kind of got in contact with him, and he's done the art for the first single, which looks amazing, and he's going to be doing it for what will eventually be the full EP that we're going to do a little bit later on.
Yep,
it's like a collection, like an art collection, rather than different artists for all of them. He'll be like doing it all tied together. Didn't he say he wanted to do a exhibition of it, or put it in his exhibition as well?
Yeah, very much so. Like,
very cool. Very cool.
So that's kind of the cool thing that we're working with at the moment, and what I'm really enjoying about the process with King Proteus is the way that everything's being built and structured is in such a way that we've found or been lucky that people of a certain caliber of artistry have found us and wanted to work with us. And so it's like this kind of wonderful like cross-pollination and cross-promotion of artistic industries, which I think is like lacking these days. Is our single release on October 9th is also going to be the debut release of the record label that we're kind of working with.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it's a guy that he's set up his own record label. He's got one called Light Armor Editions, but he's doing a side label called 17th Doll, and will be the first release on that 17th Doll record label.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the kind of cool thing. And he has been our producer and our kind of mixing engineer, and ran into him like randomly at my old job at 2nd Avenue IGA. And yeah, I know, right?
Name dropping.
Yeah, like good old bloody 2nd Avenue IGA.
That's where you meet all the artists.
All of them. Well, seemingly as
that's where the cool cats go. Man. Yeah, IGA.
To go and pay ridiculous amounts for avocados, you know. But if you want an avocado, if you want one at 3 o'clock in the morning, then look, you're not going to find a better avocado anywhere.
It's quality produce, though.
Quality produce.
It is. It's WA.
WA owned. Yeah. Like bloody James Kelly should be freaking sponsoring this right now.
We'll hit him up after the show.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, he came in and one night and he was like, "Oh yeah, cool. I work in music and I do some stuff, you know." And I was like, "What's your band name?" And you know the amount of times when people ask, they're like, "What's your band?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, cool, King Proteus." You're like, "Can you write that down?" I wrote it down for him. And then to my shock and surprise, he actually came back and he was like, "Hey, I listened to it and I really dug your stuff."
We had some demos online.
Yeah, some demos.
Yeah, cool.
Really cheaply done demos, and he's like, "I like what you've done, but I'd like to kind of set up something with you guys. How about you give me one of your songs? I'll mix it and master it, and then maybe we can like set up a partnership going forward." Because his idea is to build up his record labels.
Yeah, cool.
And so we're like, yeah, cool. We did that, and since then his name is Vince, and we've had like a really close working relationship with him, and he's fantastic. It's been a long process. I think there's been the COVID and everything. It has been a drawn out process in terms of getting everything to where it will be come October 9th, but everything kind of also serendipitously fell into place, hence why even the film clip that we're releasing at the same time was once again done for free for us by this couple who once again knew the husband from working at 2nd Avenue IGA. He once again coming back around.
Yes. Came back for the avocados.
Yeah. Well, he was actually a security guard. He was like but him and his missus are old hats in Hollywood, and they've worked on the sets of like all of these who did all the Batman, Inception, Harry Potter, done digital effects for all this kind of stuff, and they're setting up their own little film studio in Perth, and they're like, look, we've done all these different things, but we haven't done a film clip. And it just so happened that he wanted to find me. His name's Marlon, and he went back to IGA. I wasn't working there anymore, and then we run into each other at Coles, and he's like, Travis, exactly the person I was looking for. Can we meet and talk and go over some things? And then he's like, okay, we want to do a film clip. This is what have you got? Let's go with that. And that was a massive day, which we did on July 5th. July 5th we filmed it.
Remember.
We get to see the full thing on Saturday.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've only seen if you go on our Facebook page, on Instagram, there's a 12-second clip that that's all we've seen, and I'm really excited for it. Bronwyn's been sending me some images of she downloaded Unreal Engine 4, which is that kind of game building world 3D animation type of studio.
Visual effects.
Yeah. And she's like, and sent me a picture of this fantastic world and cave. She's like, this is where all the monsters in the film clip live. And I was like, what? It's
what?
We did a lot of green screen stuff.
A lot of green screen.
And makeup and everything. It was full on.
Wow.
It was 25 or 30 people in the cast.
Yeah, we had a massive cast that
holy shit.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing I've worked on.
Yeah.
And where did you shoot all this? In a studio or
it was
we did it at Hellhole, which is in Osborne Park. It's a big warehouse. It used to be
is that what it's called, Hellhole?
Yeah, it was that was the venue name before, but
wow.
Don't know what the warehouse is called.
Yeah. So we got that venue, and that was a massive day. It ended up being started at 7 a.m. and it was done at 2 a.m. Yeah.
Whoa.
So because we had a set designer, we had 3 makeup artists, we had all of these extras on set. It was a massive full-on production that Marlon and Bronwyn had pulled together, for nothing. They were just cool, this is what we're doing, we're building this. And that was also a really inspiring thing to once again see all these artists and creatives coming together, going around a central idea and going, okay, how can we put our own unique flavor into this? And I want to see more of that, in the art industry in general, because I feel like it's also segregated, and in the music industry it's very cliquey.
Yeah.
I think we all know about that.
I'm super intrigued already. I can't wait to see the clip, man, and monsters and everything.
Yeah. We won't give away too much, but it's
Travis is in his element, acting in front of everyone.
Yeah, man. I loved it. It really, I really enjoyed that opportunity to work with all of these extras, but also to work with everyone in the band. I think it really did bring us closer in terms of we had these intimate moments where we had to essentially work one-on-one with each other in front of the green screen, and it became these I think we just kind of got to show each other a different side of ourselves, and I think I just think that it brought a whole new kind of level of understanding between us in the band. So really grateful for that, and I think that's what, when you bring artists together to do it, you get that power. Hence why even with Liam, he was like, yeah, cool. He'll do the art for us, as he said, the artist. He's like, we'll do all the art, then I'll do an exhibition. You can just use the art. It's you can use it as you see fit, but we will cross promote each other type of thing. And I was like, that's awesome.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and he literally found you at a gig. He was just drunk dancing at the front, or
just drunk dancing, and approached us and was just like, I want to do some art with you. And we looked at his stuff, and if you want to check him out on Instagram or his website, I think is Liam D Art. It's this wonderful globular surrealism kind of with pastel-y colors. It's fantastic. He's an amazing artist and an interesting character in and of himself. So definitely check him out.
Yeah, and we can always if you send it through to me, we can drop it in the show notes when I put this online, so we can make sure that if people are curious. I'm curious too now. I want to go check it out.
Yeah, no, definitely worth having a look at.
Cool, man. And whereabouts is he based?
He's in Maylands.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's not far.
Just around the corner from here.
Yeah. So we met up at the Standard and talked shop, and that's when we decided on what we were going to do going forward. And so far, what we've got for the single launch looks really, really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he brings the rest of the EP to life in terms of his creative vision. Because at the end of the day, the same with the film clip, the same even with the mixing. It's like I believe in there being like in getting the most of an artist, you need to allow them to express themselves. If I'm going to sit here and tell you what to do as an artist, I'm not going to get the best out of you. I don't think. So it's like, well, I can curtail and be like, well, I think this is what we need, but like, I still want the best from you.
Yeah.
And what you can bring to it. And I want you to be passionate about what you're doing. Whereas if I'm just dictating what to do, it's like, yeah, you're going to get bored.
Yeah. I mean, as long as obviously it is something that is sort of within your natural style or your natural element.
Definitely,
then,
definitely.
For sure. I'd love to hear a bit more about the band and how you guys started and stuff, because I had the pleasure of watching you guys live a couple of about two months ago or something, when we shared the stage at what was it, Lyrics Underground?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that stood out to me was like, it was sort of very sort of theatrical, and especially probably kudos to you for making it a super entertaining set for how you were talking and presenting, introducing the songs, and giving us a little bit of a background story about it. And I remember especially you talking about this song, I think it was called Mausoleum or something, where we were talking about. It was such an enjoyable show because it was fun, it was entertaining, and the music is quite extraordinary. It's something I can't remember seeing another band sort of playing that style. So I'd love to hear about how that all came about and how you guys found each other and decided on that style of music.
Did we even decide on it? We just did it.
Yeah,
it just happened.
Very.
We're like, this is what we're going for. It needs to sound like these bands. There was nothing like that. There's no brief.
Yeah, there really wasn't, and I think that's one of the things we wanted to bring to the band, because I met Clayton from the Silent Deeds, so I was playing bass with them for a while.
With the Silent Deeds,
okay, the Silent Deeds, and Clayton was one of the founding members there, and then after a while we were like we kind of wanted to branch out and try to challenge ourselves a little bit more and go for something that we found, I guess, more interesting.
Yep.
For our musical expression, and so that's where I guess I think as well we just had a couple. I know I had like a couple of band. My old band had just kind of was coming to a close that was coming to an end, and I just left the Silent Deeds. I think I only left like what, a month before you did?
Before me,
yeah. So I'd left, and then
we played our last show. Was it the Fuel gig? You interviewed them, right?
Yeah. Last year,
yeah. So that last gig, Travis ended up being the singer in that gig, and then we had the old bass player come back. So it was a completely different lineup.
Right.
Then I think that was the last gig that we both played with that band.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, it was a fun
high point.
It was a hell of a high point to end on. Like, playing for Fuel and changing roles in the position and going to what is my natural position as frontman. I feel like even on bass, I throw myself around.
But that's still pretty cool. Like, if you weren't actually singing the songs originally in the band, you could just switch into that role just like that, or?
Yeah, I found it easy enough to do because I'm a singer first.
Yeah,
and even more than a singer, I consider myself like an entertainer. That's what I'm really there to do, is to be a conduit from the music that's being performed to the audience.
Yeah,
and being like that emotional conductor, which helps to bring together those two elements to take people on a journey. And I wish I was a bit more disciplined as a musician. I know I need to practice more, but yeah, that's what I really love about it. But with King Proteus, so the other two members in the band, Dario and Dave, we all met back at Whopper in 2011, doing the Cert 4 in jazz performance. And they were good disciplined boys. They were very good disciplined boys, and unlike me, who just come from Victoria and like just wanted to get pissed and just get stoned all the time. Like, I was just a party animal, so I didn't get into The Bachelor. They did. And then anyway, all these years later, I think Dario's band had closed up.
You
and
were
I was
living
like,
with him as well.
Yeah,
For ages.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was living with him for a while as well. But it was after I moved out. It was after I moved out that we started the band. Cause, So because I think we almost drove each other crazy. Dario and I. It was we're wonderful. There's a great relationship there.
Oh, there must be, since now you're in a working band together now. You obviously have to get along.
Yeah. We like, I love him. I've known him for like 10 years now. Like the person I've known the longest in Perth. So, and yeah, he's like a brother. And there's a lot of love-hate relationship there. It's like, it's great.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, he's when it comes to, I guess, the writing of the music, he's definitely the main composer.
Right.
He really structures the songs. We put things together. We always have our bit to contribute. But yeah, he really kind of takes the opportunity to like express his like weird kind of creative desires. But what I was going to say is the idea with King Proteus was that we could play whatever we wanted, that we were 4 talented enough musicians that it's like, I want this to be anything. Like I don't want to be a style. I want to be able to perform whatever we want. Yeah. I don't want people to bring in a song and be like, oh, that doesn't sound like King Proteus. It's like, no, King Proteus doesn't have... Well, the sound is us 4 playing together. What style or whatever genre you want to put it into, that's always going to be up to the listener and how they interpret things. But yeah, it was... Even in the name King Proteus, Proteus is the son of Neptune. He's a sea god, and he's a changeling, and he can change and morph into any kind of being that he wants to change into, whether it be animal, human, or anything. So it's like that core concept even lends itself to the music. It's like,
that's cool.
Yeah, we'll write one song, Mausoleum, about Carl Tanzler, who had a love affair with a dead woman for 9 years, and then we'll write like a tongue-in-cheek song about
one night stands.
About one night stands. Yeah, we'll have beautiful love songs about one night stands. Yeah. So I think it's still very libido charged.
That's rock music.
Yeah. So, but I guess that's the feel of King Proteus. That I try and bring to the table anyway.
No limits.
Yeah, there isn't. They're unlimited. It's
Well, the entertaining part, like I said, you did that. You did very, very well. I was certainly entertained at the show. I think it's also one of those things, like when I rocked up, it's like I only knew Band of Misfits, so I didn't know you guys and didn't know Art of Dysfunction. Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised in both cases. 2 very different styles, but man, like it was like whoa, like. It was so like you guys were really entertaining, and Art of Dysfunction was just like rock, man.
Oh
like,
yeah,
so
they are
good, man.
They are. Like, it was the first time I'd seen them too, and I was like, yeah, it was so good to see. Like we used to play with Kyle Haydock.
We met Kyle.
Kyle down in Narrogin,
and
when we were with the Silent Deeds.
Yeah. That whole crew from Narrogin, they all moved to Perth like when they turned 19 or 18 or something.
Yeah,
but we met them all when we were touring down there with Silent Deeds.
Yeah,
it's good times.
Yeah. Kyle, we used to open up for the Silent Deeds, playing acoustic guitar and whatnot, and like to see where he's come from, like then to now.
Yeah.
It's like playing bass and like doing these wonderful wails in like Art of Dysfunction. Because he was never the lead singer to begin with in that band, was he?
No, he was saying that to me before they were starting as well. Like, yeah, he just like I think they were looking for a singer or something, but then I think they couldn't be bothered looking anymore. So it's like, I'm just gonna sing then. It's like, okay, well, you don't need to look for anyone else, man. It was just rock, like in capital letters, man. It was so good, man.
Yeah, I know that. I had a ball. That was such a good night of music.
It was such a good atmosphere, man.
As well as like with you guys, and it was so well refined, like that kind of wonderful kind of like upbeat pop rock type of thing. It was
yeah.
It's like such that, and then the band of Misfits, they were great, and they're like kind of that fun and like had that kooky element to them as well. And then just the all-out rock of Art of Dysfunction. Like, it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a great way to sort of finish off a good night, man. It was like some dirty rock. So,
Definitely.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Like, I'm curious to hear a bit more about the EP and stuff. If I'd love to hear like how you where you recorded it, because obviously you mentioned was it Vince, the guy from
Vince Valentini
from was it 17th
Doll.
17th Doll, yeah.
Or his other one is Light Armor Editions.
Yep.
We did the tracking at Poon's Head in Freo. Poon's Head Studio.
Yep.
But that was with Luke Ireland and not with Rob Grant, because Rob Grant was away holidaying in Bali. So we got a good discount working with Luke instead, but we got the sweet studio.
In Bali? Yeah. So that would have been a while ago then, I suppose.
We did the tracking for this EP 2 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It was supposed to be
end of 2019,
Yeah, it was supposed to be released like May 2020. Wait, no, May 2020, because that's I think the day that we locked in. But then I think the world had other plans.
That was about the time when everything sort of when skits, April I think it was.
Nuts. So we were like, oh, okay, and it did put a hold on things, and it's one of those things that I guess with the recording was a bit of a crazy day, because we did book in
just all of it in one day.
Yeah, all of it in one day.
Wow.
We did live tracking. We did 3 takes of each song, and that was all we got. And I'd done no guitar double tracking, no overdubs at all. This is all just gonna be one track guitar.
Wow.
And then maybe Vince has done double tracking like artificially, but first time you got in the studio, it's just all live.
Yeah, it was intense, and I think it was stressful for like all of us. It was just like got to that point where it was like, oh god, okay, cool, we're trying to nut everything out. I had to go back and do a bit more vocal takes,
right?
Yeah, because I think we by the time it was all done, like I got a couple of songs in, but had to go back and do a few more. And I had to do that with Rob. But these are kind of like the first. This is like the first set of songs that we put together, and that we've been playing as a band now for, since our inception.
They probably morphed and changed a little bit before we did that tracking, but they were pretty much all there. It wasn't like going in and not knowing exactly every single note you're going to play. Like, we already had it in the bag.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty good that way. And there's been, I guess, a lot of... It's been beautiful, because I'm pretty sure every track on the EP, except maybe one track, has got a guest musician on there, or has got a guest someone on there. On this one track, One Night Lover, we've got this DJ friend of mine. Her name is Ms. Lopez, MZ Lopez. She's
where's she from?
Oh,
not German.
No, it's Spanish, but it's
Spanish.
I'm trying to think of. It's gonna kill me. If she hears this, she'll be like, "What? You forgot?" But so she does spoken word poem on one of the songs on One Night Lover, and she's got that really sultry kind of Spanish tone to her voice. In Mausoleum, we've got another jazz mate of ours playing organ. Lion that we're releasing has got our friend Kieran Podmore playing saxophone. Self-Inflicted has got a friend from Melbourne who used to be in Perth. His name's David Dower, another jazz guy. I think the only
what did he play?
He does all the jazz piano in Self-Inflicted.
The little space.
All the little all that kind of weird stuff that happens there.
That's so cool.
I don't know who did it. So. It's came in one day, it was on there.
Yeah, you're like, okay,
hey, what's this?
Like when I first heard it, I was like, I think because we were Dario was like playing it, and obviously we hadn't gotten the levels of everything. It's like, and it goes into like the bridge, and you just like have this like intense jazz piano just smacking you in the face over this like weird. And I'm just like, this isn't working at all. And Dario's like, no, it's fine, man, it's fine. And so once we put it all in the place it needs to be, in terms of its volume. It sits really nicely.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy what you can do with the mix by adding the right effects and putting everything in the right levels and stuff. It's can really make a difference.
Oh, that's one of the things. Like, there's 2 songs. MPD is actually the only song that doesn't have any guest artist on it. But like that song and even Mausoleum, we recently there's a bit in Mausoleum where we just kind of jam for like a couple of bars, and in the recording we've now put this part where Dario does this spoken word extract from the diary of Carl Tanzler, because there's a diary of Carl Tanzler who lived with this guy, and he like wrote all of these like these sonnets and stories for this woman Eleanor that he'd exhumed from the Mausoleum and was living with, and he'd play organ for her and stuff like that. And so he's like, Dario did this like wonderful spoken bit where he takes a bit of that, and it's like we put all these cool effects on it, but we put this one effect on it which kind of our producer Vince at one point didn't realize that he'd actually kind of applied it to the entire track, and it brought the entire track alive. We like listened to it and we're like, this is exactly like what have you done? You've just brought this thing to life and given it. It's got a heartbeat to it, and there's like
Wicked.
That and NPD and like some of the other tunes, like they've found their heartbeat when it's like they are a living thing, which is so beautiful to see, because I think especially when you've recorded these things so long ago and you've heard them so many times, after a while you're like, you are emotionally like unattached to it. You just like you want to forget about it almost.
Right.
So to see it be alive again in a certain way is like really beautiful.
So you ended up keeping that. So
yes,
yeah. But isn't that cool? Like you can do something where you do like a little fuck up sort of, and then hang on, this is new and exciting.
Yeah.
That's excellent, man.
It's really cool. So yeah, we're excited actually, and even with the single that we're releasing, there's going to be 4 tracks on the single CD single. So there's going to be another version of an alternate version of Lion. It's called the Tarantino Tuxedo Mix, and that's a completely recorded different version of Lion. And then there's another version of one of our songs that's going to be on the EP. But that's got Clayton like doing lead guitar instead of my vocals have been taken out. There's been some extra pads and whatnot added to the sound, to the background, and it's got like Clayton playing like lead on it, which sounds absolutely gorgeous. So like I like that idea as well. It's like you give to remix things and to throw other things into the mix too.
Yep. I think that's something that it's such a fairly easy thing to do, but it's something that I think a lot of bands should do more of, like actually having remixed songs, or which is something I'm actually doing that for my solo projects. Well, I actually give the stems to someone else, and I'm saying like someone who's in a completely different genre, and saying, can you do your mix of it and add whatever elements you need to add to it? If everything is tracked to a click, like put in some electronic stuff on top, or make it yours. You know what I mean? Because you've done all the hard work, you've recorded everything already. So if you give it to someone else who can tear it apart and put it back together, all you have to do is potentially just pay them for a day rate or however long it's going to take them to do it. You agree on a price up front, but that gives you a completely new song.
Different target market.
It does. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great idea. Or like you said, if you have the opportunity to actually re-record some small bits to actually make it a different version of your song. So actually, it's still you guys playing, and then you just mix it so it has a couple of all other small elements to it. So that's again another great idea to do it.
That's you do hit a different market. It's good that way.
But speaking about market, what sort of expectations have you got to this, and what sort of like target audience are you aiming at? Because it sounds to me like a lot of like based on your backgrounds and stuff that it could be sort of in the more sort of jazzy department. You mentioned saxophone. You mentioned you were all coming from the jazz background as well at WAPA and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're aiming to hit the jazz crowd.
It doesn't sound jazzy to me, like when I was hearing it. So
yeah, we're definitely not in that vein. I don't know. I think this is one of the things we've always struggled on. It's like, what is our crowd? Where is our crowd?
If you were gonna be like the main support for a big act, that would be sort of similar to you. What sort of band would that be, you reckon?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, that's why I was saying we didn't really have any kind of idea what the band was going to be.
Yeah,
so you can't even be like, oh yeah, we sound like this, and I just end up not being able to explain.
Yeah.
We'd probably just take whatever would suit. If we applied for something, if you're applying for a support slot for a touring band, you just if you can show them what you sound like, that's probably the best way.
Yeah. I mean, is there like some? Just trying to think, is there like an ideal one, like even international that we could?
But otherwise, you could maybe. This is probably more a question for Vince from RGA. So like by the time the song is done, I'm guessing he's going to try and put it out to a audience.
Yes.
So usually you're trying to mirror an audience that you reckon would like your songs. So I know this is, like I said, it's probably more a question for him, but I'm sure there would be like some bands that he would say, look, people that like that band might also like King Proteus.
We're putting down like mix of like Chili Peppers and Wolfpack and stuff like that. There's a bit of funkiness and
cool.
A bit of rock elements, but kind of hard to nail it down.
I suppose it's also one of the things, where you can also like just go by trial and error. By the time you are putting out, if you're planning on putting all the songs out as individual singles, you can do a bit of trial and error and see what sort of like who responds to what and stuff like that.
And maybe even people that like a bit of theatrics. I think musically it is theatrical. It has that.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
It has that kind of carnival-esque feel to the songs. They're like mini stories, and you're kind of being taken on these like little journeys, and everyone's like a kind of little individual thing. So even like musical theater to a certain degree, how it's got like all that kind of stuff.
But I was saying we should do a Fringe show. It's for a Fringe show.
I was actually thinking that just before when I can't remember what you were saying. Oh, you were talking about that artist. Yeah. Like you should even maybe consider, first of all, you should definitely do a live video recording, because like your live show, especially with all your spiels in between the songs, makes everything like super entertaining, because you are telling the story behind the songs. Yeah. And that is my greatest takeaway from that night. Had you said nothing between the songs, I wouldn't have remembered you as much as I do.
People don't say anything between the songs.
But that's why it's so entertaining, and that's why it makes it
theatrical. And you didn't plan it either. We never at rehearsal, and you're like, this is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I kind of spiel.
Well, that's even better, because that makes probably people want to go more, because like I said, I thought it was super entertaining.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I enjoy, and it can be divisive at times. We've had a couple of negative responses at the Lyric Lane, actually.
Oh, really?
We got heckled at the last gig.
We got heckled at the last gig. Because I was being sarcastic, and
sarcasm was not strong enough.
You got to wait till the end of what I'm saying.
What did you say?
So we were introducing White Knight, which is one of the song's called Waltz of the White Knight, and the concept of the White Knight is we know what it is. It's like a guy who thinks he has to save a woman. He's got to run in. He's got to save a woman from this situation, because she can't save herself.
It's almost that toxic masculinity.
Yeah, it is that toxic. It's that white knighting, thing, and it's this kind of. That's the concept, and I kind of enter, and I was in a particularly like deadpan mode on that Sunday, and I was like, well, look, we all know that women are completely incapable of looking after themselves, so this is where we as men have to come in and assert the proper way of dealing with the situation. And as I'm like getting this far in, this woman in the back is like, "Excuse me, we are all grown women here, and we don't need you to protect us." And Clayton's like, he's being sarcastic, and then even a guy in the crowd is like, "Don't you understand fucking sarcasm?" type of thing. And I'm like,
that's great though. That's gold.
Yeah, I thought it was.
They probably remember that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like, and it was one of those things. And we performed. Then I kind of at the end of the song, I was like, and then I just looked at her. I gave her a stare in the back, and I was like, and it was the man's fault all along. And like, I just being like, yeah, like at the end of the day, that's another thing that I think is important. We definitely have got we've got the best intentions, and we're not out here to we're out here to have fun. And if you're going to be on stage as an artist and you're not going to make someone feel something, like, I'm not intentionally trying to make people feel bad. That's not my intention. I'm trying to come off a bit deadpan and sarcastic, and I enjoy talking to the crowd, and I'm very comfortable there. But like, if that's going to make you upset, like that, I'd rather you feel upset, leave my show feeling upset than feeling nothing. You know, because then you haven't done your job as an artist as far as I'm concerned. Like, you've got to polarize people to some degree. I'm not aiming to polarize people. I'm aiming to enjoy myself. Yeah. And to express that enjoyment and to take people on a journey. Some people don't want to go on that journey, though. They can get off the bus.
But it's also one of the things, you know, as you mentioned as well, like you aren't doing anything to deliberately upset anyone, and if you are, like, something like that was like super harmless, man. But again,
people are very sensitive now. Though.
Yeah. Oh,
people are,
man. It's there's just so many. Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into that. That's another rabbit hole.
Charge that one.
But I've had a chat to some of the other guys on the chat as well, and it was like some of the stuff that you experience when you're out there or on social media as well. Like, if you do post or if you do comment something, you know, because when you are writing a comment, if you are putting up a post, sometimes it can be hard as the receiver to find out if there's any tone of voice, if there's any sarcasm behind it. You know what I mean? Where you are on stage or here when you're having a conversation, you can very quickly sort of deconstruct it and find, oh, hang on, I was just kidding. Oh, no worries then. You know what I mean? But if you're writing something and someone comments on it and it just goes spirals out of control, because you can literally have someone just, you know, commenting and someone else commenting back. With that, like while you go to the toilet or you make dinner and you come back and like Facebook is melting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just one of those things, like, because of the world we're living in at the moment. Yeah, it's just it's toxic sometimes.
It is, but then I think that's where we've got to, as artists, we still have to keep our integrity. And like, I didn't apologize. You know, because I knew I had nothing to apologize for. For starters, you hadn't let me finish the intro. Yeah. Had you even let me get to the end of what I was saying, you would have quickly realized, oh, okay, he's shit at sarcasm, but he is being sarcastic. Like, it would have very quickly come to the forefront. But it's like, I'm not going to apologize for that. Or, you know, the other time we got heckled there was when I was introducing Mausoleum, and I'm like, you know, it's a love as old as time, you know, because we've all had that love, that beautiful necrophilic love before. And yeah, then one of these, this particular one in the crowd is like, oh my God, stop. No, just stop. And then she came up and she's like, you made every woman in that room feel disgusting. And I went and checked.
I'm speaking on behalf of everyone.
Yeah, and I did have to go. And this is me with a bee in my bonnet right now. I'm just like, fucking this. But no, I did went and I actually checked with a lot of women, and I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't say I'm sorry. I'm like, did you react? Were you uncomfortable? And like, no, that was hilarious. And I was like, okay, good, because that's the point. But yeah, you've got to. It's an interesting world to be in right now.
You can't just tiptoe around everything, though. You have to be yourself.
And you do,
but creative.
But at the same time, like you said, like I think definitely the two hecklers would remember you and remember that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had said nothing between the songs, they probably wouldn't. Yeah, or they wouldn't have remembered it as strongly as they do now, because now there's connection, whether that's good or bad, you know what I mean? But whatever it is, it's something. I remember that guy. I remember that band because that was that funny guy or that sarcastic guy.
The woman on the door that night when we were there on Sunday, she's like, "Oh, I remember you guys from a year ago when that woman had the problem with the song you sang," and I was like, "Oh my God, do you remember?"
That's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's there every week.
Yeah, she's the door girl, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and I was like, "Oh, okay, like."
But imagine how many bands that would come in, do the show, and walk away,
and no one remembers.
Yeah,
and or definitely they wouldn't have that reaction. You know what I mean? Like the fact that she remembered that is it's a statement to you, man.
We have, that's why we've got a responsibility as artists. We have to make people feel things, because especially these days where we are so quick to apathy and then we're so quick to boredom. It's like if something doesn't make us feel something, then it's like it's not serving its purpose as art, because that's art is to move the heart, and if it's not doing that, for good or for bad, it's not really serving its purpose.
Actually, another thing, just on that same note, is something that again, kudos to you. You're very good at that art. Is actually giving people an introduction to what the song is about. Because like lyrics to me is extremely important, and it's something that I think is very underrated in general. I don't think very many people actually, first of all, give the lyrics out. Like if you're putting up your video on YouTube or something like that, like put out an actual lyric video. I think that's the best way for you to understand what story.
It's very common these days.
What story you're trying to tell. But the thing is, like a lyric video, like you can get it done on Fiverr for like $10. You know what I mean? Like so there's no excuse not to do it, really.
Yeah.
But my whole story was that you were very good at giving people an introduction to this song is about X, Y, and Z. Like whether it's about having a relationship with a corpse, you know what I mean, or whether it's about something else, what not stand and what not. But the thing is, like if you like, I think you also have the responsibility as an artist to be good at your storytelling.
Yeah,
and to because you as an audience. I'm not speaking for everyone here, but like my own like I really enjoy the story behind the songs. If somebody doesn't tell me the story, I might not even get into the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like I'll just, this song was catchy, but I don't know what the song is about.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get it, and this song is about this, like the music can mean so much more. Because it almost like it has that extra layer to it. Does that make sense?
It definitely.
You start listening closer because you're like, I've got some background context on this.
Yeah. And sometimes if you know that this song is about, I mean, I get it. I was like, so like some of the songs are, I know fun songs, like story about a dead, having a relationship with a dead person. It's obviously not something probably very many of us can relate to. But but if you like one night stand is something that I think most people can relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it is something a bit more serious. If it is safe, like some angst or suicide or depression or anything that a lot of people have had close to them in one way or the other. If you know that the song is about that, especially before you hear it the first time, you're gonna have a very you will remember that if it's something that was an important subject to you.
It's interesting because I agree with you there as well. But I feel that in general, it's very in the music industry. It's kind of it's a divisive thing because I mean, back in my old band, the Transnational Crash, like Chris used to hate that I talk that much between, like I like to introduce songs.
Some people want the music to just stand for itself,
and it's right. Like it definitely suits some bands more than others, and also you don't necessarily have to do it when you're gigging. But like I said, if you are like, you will have probably far more people. Hopefully, you're gonna have far more people that will check you out online than at gigs, because you can reach every single person that's online. You can reach them online.
Yeah,
so if they go and they have like a like if you put up your cool music video, I'm really looking forward to seeing that now. And you had the lyrics in there, or you have a lyric video to go with it. Then everybody, regardless of where they are, regardless of whether they're in the audience and get put up by your introduction to the song, they can make their own story because they can then see, so that is what the lyrics are. Or even I'm just thinking of that now as well, or you could even just do your own little video introduction to the lyric video or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you have a little like a 1 minute spiel where you can do the same thing. Put out like a nice soft light and a little camera, and you say, this song is about
put on a nice robe or something and like get a corn cob pipe and be like, this next song.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. But whatever it is, again, you're in control of that creative process. You're in control of that. But you're serving everything on a platter for the viewer, for the listener.
Yeah.
And that was my whole point about getting that extra layer or getting that extra depth to the song in general. That was a long spiel.
No, it is. Like I like it, it is that. As you said, sometimes people just want
and that's cool too.
It can take away the mystery, I guess. If you don't know what the song's about, you really have to investigate it to figure it out when you listen to the lyrics. But if someone's sort of introduced you already,
a perfect example.
That's very true.
A perfect example is probably Rammstein.
Yeah.
First of all, even if you did introduce the songs, no one will understand the fuck he's saying anyway. You know what I mean? But the fact is, when I don't know if you guys have seen the line, but he says nothing. Like he says maybe thanks or danke in between the songs, and that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, "Oh, come on, get your hands up and jump around, make a circuit pit," or "Yes, so this next song is about X, Y, and Z," and like tells a story. No, there's none of that. It's just one long, almost like you're going in and you're watching a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Almost like an opera. It's just all music. Like it's just all just linked together. And that works extremely well for them. Also, how they put up, because obviously they're extremely theatrical live, with flamethrowers and lots of costume changes, lots of makeup and all that stuff. So in that aspect, and again, like a multi-million-dollar production, let's not forget that either.
Yeah.
But some bands, again, like I said, and it works extremely well in your case, in my opinion.
Oh,
so yeah,
I'm glad. It'd be weird for me to shut up and be like, next song.
Yeah.
I think I have a brain aneurysm on stage. I'm like, I need to talk about something.
But I think that's also, as Clayton said, like, so like you can be you, like you can be what suits you, and on stage, like I said, you're great, you're entertaining, and it feels natural to you. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's a oh, I've gotta say something just to say something. Like it feels like you're having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a comfortability, and I think if you've got that comfortability on stage, it depends about the feel that you want to bring to things, and that's why even with putting the band together, it's like why we put all the musicians the way they did, because they're all quite good storytellers. Like I love the way that Clayton plays guitar. Like when you solo, it's emotional and it's a story. Like there's plenty of people that are like shred lords, and you're like, wow, it's really cool, but it's like I didn't feel much from it, So it's a matter of finding people, or it's like Dave, our drummer, who is just holds everything down so intensely, but then you give him a moment of freedom and he just becomes a monster. Like and he tells a story in his drumming. It's like, that's what we want to take people on a journey, tell them a story. How can we do that? Like, how can we put that together? And that's kind of what I like about King Proteus.
But that was again a cool thing that I remember being. Maybe it's also me being a drummer, but yeah, I remember like at that show, like you all sort of like sat down, and there was this section where he was just like, I think he had like I don't know how many bars, where he was just the solo.
We don't know how many bars.
Yeah,
we don't know. It's different every time. We're like, is it finished yet?
But that again like works. Like it works both musically and visually. So because like you're all like sort of sitting down, and it's sort of like it brings more attention on him, like on the instrument. So it's almost like you're having a spotlight on without having an actual spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like kudos again. Like it was there are so many elements in that show. Like I said, I've only seen you guys that one time, and like I said, I remember a lot of it. And to me, that was it was super important.
Fantastic. We've seared ourselves into your brain.
Yes, you have. Yeah,
exactly.
I've only played like 5 or 6 shows.
Oh, really?
In like 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow,
No, we've been pretty it's been pretty low key, but then we'll hopefully, because we'll be ramping everything up,
you'll make up for it now.
Yeah. That's the idea. It's always, and this is why we get these responses, and that's once again, it's wonderful to have them and to have people be like, oh man, that was so good. But I think it was at the same show that we played where I had a few other people come up and be like, oh, you took me on a journey. Like I went through so many things, like, and so many bands that I like,
so many
and like
feelings.
And I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, that's, to me, that's important, is like this kind of like weird shamanic emotional purge that you get to put someone through. The same way that like when you watch,
that's
like,
a great sentence, man.
but it's like when you watch,
purge.
it's like when you watch a movie that just like hits you in a certain way, and you're like, oh, and it like gets the emotions going. It is this kind of emotional shamanic purge that you get to go through, and it's a beautiful thing. And so when you get to give that to someone, like, that's like, to me, that's the beauty of it. That's the magic in it all. Like, that's what I love personally.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Well, look, that might be actually a good place to try and wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I want to make sure that you drop wherever people should go and check you guys out.
On Thursday at Convenience, we're playing.
Yeah, this Thursday at Convenience.
This Thursday, wow, okay, I've got to make sure, see if we can put the episode up before that. But otherwise, like obviously all the gigs would be on your socials, I'm guessing as well. So
all the gigs will be on the socials.
Where should people go? And
go Facebook.com/King Proteus.
Yep.
We're on Instagram as well.
Is it King Proteus Band on Instagram? I can't remember.
not sure. It might be.
We'll-
be. If you
We'll
look up,
find out before we put this up. So
Yeah.
look at the show notes.
yeah, look at the show notes. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, all the general social media outlets. There isn't anything up for the October 9th one yet. That will be up as soon as possible. That will be.
Watch this
Final-
space.
Yes, exactly. Watch the space.
And that was for the single and video launch. as well?
Single and video launch and the launch of 17th Doll Records. Yeah, record
Fantastic.
label.
Fantastic.
Yeah, going to be a big night.
Yeah, for sure, man. Awesome, man. Thanks so much, guys. I really enjoyed
Thank
those. Some great stories, man. I love the whole thing about RG and avocado, and that's a little twist, man.
Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you very much, Stefan.
Thanks a lot, guys.
On.
Appreciate it.